As far as technical trading is concerned, drawing trend lines is about as easy as it gets. That being said, most new traders are drawing trend lines wrong, and in this video, I'm going to tell you why. My name is Royce Jacob. I've been trading since 2015 and trading professionally since 2020. My specific skill set lies in swing trading options and identifying revolutionary macro trends early. And I've posted over 1,000 videos on my YouTube channel discussing these macro trends, discussing my trades, and of course, diving into the charts and discussing technical patterns, including trend lines. I'm excited to get into this one with you guys. I've been wanting to make this video for a while, so I hope you gain some value from it. Let's dive into these charts. But before we dive into the charts and discuss the two trend lines that changed my trading game forever, I want to make it very clear that I did not learn all of this overnight. It's taken years of dedicated education, and that's why I'm very proud to say that the sponsor of this video is Teachable. Teachable is where seasoned creators can build lasting businesses through education, and as many of you already know, I am one of those seasoned creators. I've been using Teachable for over 5 years now to create my portfolio breakdowns, my daily trade alerts, and of course, send out all of my email newsletters. So when they reached out for a possible collaboration, I couldn't have been more on board. Thank you to Teachable for sponsoring this video. I will, of course, leave all of their links in the description, and stick around to the end to hear more about this amazing company that I have once again been using and loving for a very long time. Thanks, Teachable. Now let's dive into TradingView. Okay, so we've made it into the charts, and as you can see in front of us here on the watch list, I've gathered 4 ticker symbols that I think can best illustrate the trend lines we're going to be discussing today. Those are Bitcoin, Riot Platforms, Advanced Micro Devices, and the Russell 2000 Index. We're going to kick it off with Riot because I think that this chart specifically really has a couple shorter, medium, and long-term examples of these trend lines. If you've been a member of the newsletter for a while, if you've been watching me make these videos where we discuss charting, then you'd be very familiar with these. But if not, what we are talking about today are these lines of what I call conservative and absolute resistance. You can see here, I'll just use this mass one, the lines of resistance on this massive descending channel as the first example. And you can see here that I have not one trend line drawn to be this line of long-term resistance, but I have 2 trend lines drawn. Okay, one at the very top, that is once again what I call absolute resistance. And the other one, conservative resistance, which is what we trade on primarily at Waves Capital and what I really use to take profits and adjust my personal positions, is that line once again of conservative resistance. Okay, so before we go into more examples and discuss this a little bit further and how I trade on these, it's kind of just important to understand from a general perspective that the reason these lines are so important is because it really speaks and kind of slaps those greedy traders in the face, right? You can see here these lines of absolute resistance only have a couple of touch points. This is absolute resistance. Typically, even when I would draw these lines of absolute resistance on my own chart, like I would do that and have at least these 2 candle wick touch points. But for the purpose of this example, I'm just going to leave this here. Okay. And this is where I think a lot of beginner traders could go wrong, is drawing a trend line like this, right? You see trend lines, just connect that touch point to that touch point. Those are the 2 top touch points. That creates a max trend line. And that's where you go wrong, right? Because if you're trying to trade off that, as you can see here as we zoom in, you're going to be left holding the bag. You're going to lose your money because experienced traders know when to get out. They don't get greedy. And again, you can see here how efficacious this is, okay? So again, absolute resistance, you are using fewer touch points. A lot of time, especially in this case, just a couple candle wicks. These aren't even closures, which those closures, those candle closures, especially on daily candles, those are where you can see things really start to get important. But again, using candle wicks, whether you're using 1 hour, 4 hour, daily, weekly candles, I will always advise against using singular candle wicks and really going off of either multiple candle wicks as this line of conservative resistance is drawn, and even better going to the close. Okay. So again, just as you can see here, literally just the day before yesterday, kind of a bloody day in the markets. That's a trading game. What are you going to do? It's a good day to shark up some call options, which I did in the Waves portfolio. And of course, more on this in Teachable later. Links in the description once again. But you can see here that just yesterday, I guess the day before, this was technically Friday because today's Monday, but this chart, Riot Platforms, perfectly tested this line of conservative resistance and didn't even get close. It got super rejected from that line of conservative resistance. Again, a lot of individuals, a lot of beginners who may have been trading Riot Platforms were waiting for this line of clear long-term resistance to be tested. And, once again, as I just said, they're going to be the ones left holding the bag. So when it comes to trading, as I alluded to earlier, it's really critical to not get greedy. Use as many touch points as you can. There's obviously there's obviously a balance between wanting to extract as many gains as possible, but again, using like just a singular touch point, a singular candle wick touch point to create your lines of resistance. Same goes for support. Is foolish. Okay, because if say you have a line of support drawn. We'll just use the line of support on this massive descending channel that we've been talking about. A lot of traders are going to draw that. And again, if you're waiting for a pullback in Riot, you drew that trend line, you're like, I'm going to buy way down here at like $4 or $5. But that didn't happen. See, I drew this line of conservative support, multiple touch points here, and Riot again proved to perfectly bounce, not once, but twice off of this line of conservative support. So again, you guys, the more touch points, the better. That's really the premise of this video. We're just going to continue elaborating and kind of expanding on some other examples that have just been popping up in the portfolio and that I've been personally trading recently. And I'll tell you how I'm trading this. Okay, and just as a hint, this trend line right here is what I'm going to make the next video about. So if you're not subscribed to the channel, I'm excited to make more of these little trader tips videos, technical analysis, or I should say technical pattern videos. And I hope you guys enjoy them. So subscribe to the channel, like the video, of course, if you are still gaining value from it. And if you have any questions or concerns, I guess, if you want to ask me anything, feel free to jump in the comments below as well. Okay, so let's jump into AMD. Go to IWM quick and they'll close it out with King Bitcoin. AMD will go a little shorter term because this is really nice. Okay, so AMD, as you can see here, is in a nice short-term ascending channel. Okay, we have the line of support here. We have this line of conservative resistance, what I would deem to be semi-conservative resistance, which actually came into play. And again, that's where this candle wick comes into play. And then we have the line of absolute resistance here at the very top. So we zoom in here, you can see here, the reason I drew this line of what I just called semi-conservative resistance is because it falls right on that 4-hour candle closure, okay? Many of you might know this, again, if you've been trading with us or if you've been watching my videos for a while. 4-hour candles and daily candles as an options trading, as an options swing trader. It's funny, I didn't know how to phrase that, but as one who swing trades options, those are my favorite time frames or favorite candles to use for the charts. Just a heads up there. But again, perfect little ascending channel. We have absolute resistance. You can see that AMD perfectly came up again, not once, but twice, 2 4-hour candles to get rejected by this line of conservative resistance. So thankfully, we took profits within the portfolio and, hopefully we can still ride because if you guys are watching this in the short term, I think AMD is going to have an amazing year ahead of it, and go check out some of my recent AMD videos if you're interested in that. But overall, you can see here it came into play once again. IWM. This is an interesting example here as we zoom out. You can see that IWM will just go right over here. And again, this just a little spoiler. This will come into play in that next little trader tips or technical pattern video that I'm going to be making. But you can see here that IWM, again, long-term ascending channel. Go to daily candles. It makes it a little more digestible. But again, you can see here we have the line of absolute resistance up top. This is foolish, what I'll call foolish absolute resistance. Again, just using that one touch point. So never draw those foolish lines of resistance, please. And then we have what I would consider to be very conservative resistance. Okay. And again, you wouldn't think this would come to play after this breakout, but this turned out to be a faux breakout. And once it sold off, resumed that overall, like more more parallel ascending channel, more conservative ascending channel form, and just kind of zigzag trading range doing its thing. You can see here that this line of conservative, very conservative resistance that just turned out to be a bull trap came perfectly into play. 1 test, 2 tests, 3 tests. And again, we did break out. Macroeconomics and fundamentals will always lead things higher and always have, ultimately the fundamentals are equally, if not more important than the technicals. The longer you trade technicals and look at the charts, the more you kind of realize it's probably 50-50, if not sometimes weighted towards the technicals, towards the charts if times are slow. So just keep that in mind. But again, that's where if you're trading, if you're swing trading especially, that's where these lines of conservative resistance come into play. Because again, you could have come up here, took profits, sold off, bought near the line of conservative support right here, coming back up, and again, just taking those profits, not getting greedy, not waiting for these lines of absolute resistance to be tested. Again, if you had some long-term options contracts, which I always recommend, never trade 0-day expiration options. You will learn the hard way. If you have nice long-term contracts, it comes in handy too. But again, it's all dependent upon your trading style. The primary objective of this video is just to get you to draw these trend lines as conservatively as possible. And again, don't get greedy. Draw those foolish, just one touch point trend lines. Okay, let's close it out with Bitcoin. Because this actually, I'll just use this to kind of as like an analysis and a potential price target for Bitcoin. You can see here as we zoom out, Bitcoin is in a massive ascending channel dating all the way back to March of 24 when we get this first touch point here. Okay, boom, touch point. A lot of traders, I can guarantee it, especially the newbies, are going to be looking at this trend line. So you got 2 touch points here, which is important to understand. You still have 2 touch points. That's what makes me think that this, especially Bitcoin, does tend to test those lines of absolute resistance. So it's absolutely possible. But when it comes to my personal portfolio and how I'll be trading, and again, if you guys want my daily, a full breakdown of my personal portfolio, all of my daily newsletters, this just gives you guys a look into Teachable, which we'll talk about at the end, of course. It's the perfect sponsor and the perfect partnership for this video, because I already kind of shout out Teachable in every video due to my newsletter and portfolio. But again, this is just a quick breakdown. This is just I usually keep the archives of the last week or 2 of newsletters on Teachable in the curriculum. So that's just what that looks like. And again, if you guys want to join the team, if you guys want to join Waves Capital and know how I'm trading my personal portfolio on a daily basis, it's the first link. Second link, I guess, because Teachable is going to be first. Second link in the description. I'll make a pinned comment as well. My complete portfolio, daily trade alerts, email newsletters. You get everything that this box here entails for $15 a month or $40 for every 3 months. If you do join, welcome to the team. I take a lot of pride in pricing this. I personally think this is too cheap, and I'm sure a lot of members can attest to that too. Especially considering what I was paying in my young days for some of these products from some of these older Wall Street guys. But again, if you want to join, if you want to ride the waves with us, it's the second link in the description or in the pinned comments. And again, look forward to having you on the team. If not, no worries though. Let's finish out with Bitcoin. Again, as you can see here, we have conservative resistance. Hope you've learned that by now. And then we have absolute resistance at the very top. I will absolutely be adjusting my portfolio and be taking profits from potentially all of my crypto-related positions. I don't only swing trade options. I have a pretty prominent long-term like retirement portfolio as well. Names like Riot, names like Palantir, C3 AI. Again, Palantir, we got in around $22. Riot got in, around like $2-3 many moons ago. So again, I don't just swing trade options. I have a long-term portfolio and occasionally just that. But again, when Bitcoin tests this line of conservative long-term resistance on this massive ascending channel, I try to be a responsible trader and investor. I will have to force my hand in taking some profits. Is it possible we climb higher? Is it possible that we climb to the line of absolute resistance? Is it possible that we break out and go beyond that? Absolutely. But again, as a trader, as someone who this is my job, this is where a significant portion of my net worth comes from, I'm going to take profits and lock in some of those gains if we see this line of conservative resistance tested. So again, I hope you guys kind of see trend lines through a different light. If you weren't already drawing trend lines, again, I know a lot of you who are watching may be drawing trend lines like this already, but if not, I hope this brought you some value once again, and I hope you enjoyed the video. So talk to me in the comments downstairs. Again, if you want to sign up to my daily newsletters and trade alerts, full breakdown of my portfolio, That's going to be in the pinned comment and in the description. And now for the platform that allows me to do all of this, and again, was gracious enough to partner with me and sponsor this video, that is Teachable. Teachable, you are more than creator. You are a business. Expertise is your edge. We give you the tools to turn it into premium education products that drive lasting revenue and impact, and you can start for free. Create and sell the most learning products while providing the best possible experience for your students. They have 30 million products sold, 32 million students served, and 4.6 stars for the student mobile app. So you don't only get, I primarily use the desktop platform, but that's the beautiful thing. You can use, a lot of my students I know read on their phones as well and read the newsletters, trade alerts on their phones, which is amazing. So product, online courses, that's my area. That's where I create, once again, the newsletter and portfolio group. Courses by you, powered by Teachable. Create and sell online courses that captivate students, scale revenue, and move your business forward without the tech headache. Again, you can start for free. And before we move forward, I highly recommend you guys just go check out the website. Their UI, their user interface is amazing. Happy students are good for business. That is 100% something that I've learned over the past 5 years. And again, I couldn't agree with that more. Teachable gives you the tools to give them the best learning experience possible and keep them coming back, referring their friends as well. Okay. So what I want to talk about as well is their payments, because Teachable's payments, not only how you receive payments is amazing, but how you get paid as a creator is amazing as well. Sales and financial management automated. Expect more from your payment gateway. Teachable Pay not only gets you paid, it also helps you simplify business operations while raising your earning potential. So Teachable, the beautiful thing about being paid as a creator, you have access to your dashboard. That right there is what it looks like. That's your user dashboard. You can see all your sales on the right. You can see your revenue for the month, revenue for the day. You can see a nice clean chart to visualize how you've been making money. And you can get paid bi-weekly, not just weekly. You can get paid daily, okay? I personally don't have it daily. I get paid weekly personally, but just to get paid daily is pretty darn cool. Okay. So that's a huge plus. You can get paid every single day from the revenue you make on a day-to-day basis. And again, as you can see here, 20% increase in revenue from order bumps, 25% increase in sales from buy now, pay later, 43% increase in lifetime student value with recurring payments, and 200 plus countries you can sell with on Teachable Pay. The beautiful thing too about Teachable Pay and the way your students can pay for your product, which makes it way more trustworthy, is the fact that you can introduce all these options, okay? If you're selling a course, if you're selling a product, you can sell it with PayPal, Afterpay, Google Pay. I mean, they're all right there. You can see them for yourself. But that makes just that level of trust using those payment gateways that much higher, and that converts. I've noticed personally I remember when they introduced this a couple of years back, it definitely converts to more sales, okay? So Teachable, again, this is an amazing product. The fact that I've been using it for 5 years now, I think speaks for itself. So go check them out. Again, the link is going to be in the description of this video. Teachable.com. Amazing, amazing product. And thank you again to Teachable for sponsoring this video. I hope you guys gained some value. I hope you guys continue to make waves in your own lives. And I'll catch you next time. Until then, always remember, take action, make waves. Peace.